Last time I was on this stage, it was Steel Panther. Do you guys know them? And I got up here, then I got kicked off. So hopefully I don't get kicked off this time. But thank you for having me. And like Matt said, I want to talk about something a little bit different than what you guys have probably talked about these last few days. And that's the magic of VR in a startup to help people to get in shape. So first of all, I think we all recognize this over these last few days, that virtual reality, metaverse, these digital twins, these technologies, as we know, I just want to remind everybody, will take every industry by storm, and we're seeing that very quickly, and this is another example. So first of all, my name is Ryan DeLuca. I'm basically been here in Boise, Idaho most of my life. It's a little bit older picture, but that's my dog Brownie, my 3 kids, my wife. We're Boise State fans. And this is my new daughter. She just actually turned 1 today. So this is when she turned 11 months, so very excited about that. In my free time, I'm a private pilot, hopefully teaching my son how to fly. Big book reader. You'll always see me with my nose in a book nowadays on Kindle. I'm an amateur ballroom dancer. My wife's from Russia, so she got me into that. And I will say I am an award-winning ballroom dancer because we've done some competitions and we were the only one in that league, so we won the award. And for fun, also taking the plane around to do charity work, like picking up dogs from places where they can't be adopted and bringing them to places like here in Boise where they can't be adopted. So this is when my love of fitness started, way back in, this is 2000, no, okay, back in the 80s. Grew up just loving the idea of just working out, reading all the magazines, like learned about the bodybuilders and wanted to be like that, and wanted to be a personal trainer someday. In April 1999, that's when you first started to hear about the internet, right? Really hearing about how this thing, the internet's gonna come out, there's this e-commerce, there's all this stuff you can do, and I just got super excited about it. I just graduated high school here, 96, Capitol High. Said, let's create something really exciting and new and use this new technology. So I created a company called bodybuilding.com. And so this was started in my garage, bootstrapped, literally got the domain name from somebody that owned it, and just started building it from right then. We built it up to about $500 million in annual revenue, 800 employees. It was the most visited fitness site in the world, the largest content site, and we had right here in Boise, Idaho. So decided to sell that 2015 and take a little bit of a break. This is a picture from Thailand. I thought I could take a little bit more of a retirement, and only lasted about 6 months and said, all right, it's time to get back into something because it was literally probably the most depressing, boring time of my life. April 2016, that's when you started to hear about virtual reality. So of course, the first thing you have to think about is, what's the problem to be solved? And you guys have talked a lot about this over these last few days. Using these new technologies, I think a couple of presentations right before this, using the technologies, making sure that you're trying to solve an actual problem, not just trying to shove technology where it doesn't go. So that's what we started to look at is, how can we use this to help with fitness? The truth is that most people are not on a fitness plan. We learned that at bodybuilding.com. We always said that our biggest competitor was the couch. We would lose more of our customers to the couch than we would to a competitor. Most people that start a fitness program don't stick to it. And there's billions of dollars being spent on fitness devices, streaming services, Pelotons, gym memberships, and we're still the largest, most obese we've ever been, and the most out of shape than we've ever been as a nation. And it really is because people that start that program quit, right? We can all recognize this in the gym in December, it's empty. January 1st, it's totally packed. And then of course, don't worry, all the New Year's resolutionaries, that's what they'll say, they'll all be gone in a couple weeks. And that's actually what happens, and that's the saddest part of fitness industry. And you can see workouts, right? Does that look like something you guys want to go do right now? Rows of treadmills and just the same boring things over and over. So we looked at that problem, we said, all right, how can we solve that? What does VR bring to the table? The first thing it brings is full immersion. And that is a very powerful thing, as you guys know. Actually being immersed in an experience and not just seeing it on a screen, whether it's a video game, whether it's a movie, it changes the way that it impacts your brain and emotionally in a way that has never been possible before. You really feel like you're fully there, and that brings a whole bunch of extra power that you can use for all sorts of different things. 3D movement and tracking. This is the first time that you've been able to go inside of a 3D environment move around in it, and track what that person is doing. Instant time and location travel. You can go anywhere, be with anyone, and not have to actually leave your house. And of course, big one for this group is spatial awareness and scale. Actually being able to see the scale and how things feel when you're in there versus looking on a 2D screen. Those are just a few of the things that VR brings. So then we went and asked, like, how can VR solve that problem of fitness using these new capabilities? What we believed at the time, this is back in 2016, is that this could be a whole new way to exercise. You could actually go in there and turn your workout into a video game using your body as a controller. You can use the psychology of gaming to make fitness fun and addictive. It's not just on a flat screen or a device. You can deliver personalized guidance with immediate feedback. So you can immediately tell people what to do based on what they're doing, just like you can in a video game, but in a 3D environment, helping to teach and monitor exercise form. Are they doing it correctly? You can immerse that user in that exciting world that distracts them from boring exercise. And studies have now shown that that actually does happen in VR with exercise. Reducing pain perception. There's been studies showing that people have actually been doing workouts and they rate how much pain do you feel right now, whether it's in your lungs or in your muscles, and based on how hard you're working. So you might say, oh, I feel an 8 and I'm working out an 8, like with your heart rate. In VR, it shows that you feel you're working a 5 and you're actually working out at a 9. So you're reducing the pain perception, the misery that comes from fitness, as well as the time perception. Everybody knows, right, what's the problem with the first 30 minutes on the treadmill? It's only been 5 minutes, right? Like, we all know that feeling. You're watching the clock. In fact, there's a different meme. It's like, oh, I only have 30 minutes left. That's only 2 15-minute blocks, which is only 4 7.5 minutes. You're like doing the math, trying to distract yourself. In VR, in that flow state that you can get people in that immersed environment, studies have now proven that your time perception goes away and things go much quicker in that flow state, which is obviously great for fitness. And also creating those social fitness experiences for people that can't get together in person. So back in 2016, we said, all right, let's go and try to create a new startup around this. So we said we wanted to create a startup that was basically fitness, plus new technology, plus a scalable business opportunity. So those are that sweet spot we like to work. They usually don't overlap. It is true that the jocks, the people that play sports, don't understand technology nearly as much, and the people that are in technology don't really understand fitness in general. So there's not really a lot of people working in that space. So then it was time to start prototyping. You guys have been through this, right? So we had no idea what we were going to do. So we literally, this is my co-founder Preston, we were laying on the ground imagining what would it be like to work out inside virtual reality? Like, what, how would you actually lift weights, and how would you do cardio? And so he's just laying down pretending he's like lifting something. Then we went and started saying, all right, let's actually try to do resistance training in VR. So we just duct taped a Vive controller to a dumbbell, which was, but we didn't want things flying around. We got a few injuries from that. Then we started looking at like cable machines, like maybe that would be better than just actual dumbbells. And we knew we wanted to have a resistance training type of experience, not just cardio, because we're big believers in resistance training for overall fitness. And so we started doing, desktop prototypes of electronic resistance. We actually hooked it then into a cable machine. So we bought this cable machine, took the weights off, put our electronic resistance in there, hooked it in, and you can see the Vive controller still hooked onto there. And this is my wife testing it out. So you can see it's very primitive, but it's allowing us to actually see where the handles are, and you can actually start to see what it feels like to work out inside virtual reality. We then ran into a problem where every time we'd go into our experience, the headset would lose tracking. We had no idea why. Other games would be fine. With our experience, just would lose tracking, just gray out. And we literally spent months on it. And you can see we're trying to get rid of electrical interference. So we were covering things with tin foil and using tape to cover any reflections. But we eventually found out that there was some interference. And if we wrapped the USB cord around a ferrite donut, that actually took it out and that actually fixed it. So I say like a donut fixed or saved our fitness company. So we're eating our own dog food. We started to design the machine in VR, kind of getting that idea of like, how does it feel? Because obviously with workout machines, all different type of body types, you got to make sure that you can do the different exercises and that the form factor works. This was the first version where we tried to do something where we didn't have to have a lot of moving parts, and so we had all these different cables and pulleys everywhere. Didn't really work. We call this the refrigerator. It was this big, huge thing. It was like this bench pad thing. It was just totally overcomplicated. Started digging into the game design, like what kind of game are you going to put in there? So you started building out the game, doing other type of tests. This is one of our early team members just jumping around, playing like early prototypes of fitness games. We started building paper game prototypes. So basically all video games are math, so you can create different kind of experiences just using paper and see like what would it feel like strategically to play this game. Another great thing about VR is that we can track everything the person's doing in real time, and we can use that data to give them feedback. We can also change the resistance levels based on what they're doing. So that's something that a lot of people don't get from the gym, is the ability to actually track what you're doing and get advice to give you that progressive overload and the coaching that you really need. So we started digging into a lot of that with our data. A whole other aspect of it, of course, was building out the brand, the character design, like how's that going to feel? Thinking about how we're going to name the company and logos. The name is basically Black Box, which is, Black Box in software is, something, an input goes in, some magic happens, something on the other side is the output. So we said, you're going in, the magic is in the black box, and you come out transformed and a more fit person. This is the next version of the machine. Started to create different ways to do it, kind of more simple, 2 pillars there, still hooked into the electronic resistance. And then it was time to move into MVP. Let's start testing this. Let's see how it feels. So the first thing we did is we said, we are going to stop working out at the gym, quit our membership forever. We're going to only work out in VR for the rest of our life. It was a way for us to create a sense of urgency and to use it like an actual user, which is something very important. So many people build a product for a user, and when they actually go to use it, it's totally different because you're designing in a different way. I always remember at bodybuilding.com, we'd create these like new ways to like find what's the best protein powder for you, for example. All these tools, and it was the best thing ever. We were so excited, launch it, and then a few months later, I'm like, oh, you know what? I need to find a new protein. I'm going to go under our new thing, and immediately found like 5 things that it needed, that it didn't have, and using it ourselves. So that's why we forced ourselves to use it in that way and to quit the gym. Of course, going into our own team testing, user testing, we built out a whole companion app on the phone, so you can do a lot of the other parts of the game there, where we don't have to do it in VR. Building out all the arenas and the environments, which, learning from you guys here, there's a lot easier ways to do that now. It'd be great to scan these environments and bring them in versus having to build them from scratch. Then we built a beta gym. We put it in a little warehouse over by Costco. We let people come in and try it out and actually use it like real people and get that feedback. It was time at that point to start building the machines because we needed to get out there and get to the market. So this is us in the warehouse putting them together. And then we said it's time to actually get out there and show people what we're all about. So we went to CES in 2018, and we actually won the best of CES for the best startup at CES that year, which was pretty exciting for our team. And this is like the Today Show here. And it was really fun. Like, so many people would come in from the media. They've never worked out really with resistance, like weightlifting. And you'd see these people go in there, and the game would just push them to a point where they're like going so hard, So we got some pretty cool things where they were, yelling and screaming in our booth, which was pretty exciting. And then we eventually opened up our first gym location, and this is in San Francisco. So it's a gym that you go to with our machines in there, with the game experience, that boutique gym model, kind of like Orange Theory or F45. This is right across from Twitter headquarters. So with all that, going through all that process that you've all been through, from the prototyping to MVP to launching, what is Black Box VR? Basically what we did is we put the best aspects of video games and the fun and excitement and addictiveness that people get so excited to continue to come back to and want to continue to play, together with the benefits of true resistance and HIIT cardio. And this is a quick little video showing a quick version of the experience. a tech company unless you have your logo spinning and exploding at the end. You know? So that's a little bit older version of the game graphics when we were really first testing it. But the idea is that you go in there and you see how people experience this. You know, it's the full, what we call the full stack gym, like of the metaverse, where we have that commercial resistance machine, later to be an at-home version, the full AAA style esports competitive game. Coming soon, a meta title, so you'll be able to play it at home, the cardio version, the companion app that goes together with it so you can manage your game. That's where your social experience really comes from. And as I mentioned earlier, it's a gym model. So right now it's basically, like I said, like an F45 Orange Theory where you go there, you have your own private booth. You go in there, the headset is cleaned using CleanBox. You guys probably use in other places, and also VR covers. And it allows you to have that private experience where you can still play the game using the equipment. The machine is fully tracked in VR. It enables full body exercise. You're doing squats, deadlifts, overhead press, lat pull downs, every body part, compound exercises. You know, dynamic resistance that we control in real time with the game. So, you know, within a rep, we can change the resistance. We can change it based on what you're doing and give you that data back to you, so you don't have to know what to do. It's just going to do it for you. Like basically your full AI personal trainer. The game, as I mentioned, is an esports style game where you're standing on one side and you're competing to try to destroy the crystal before they destroy yours, or going against an NPC. So you know, sometimes it's going to be just against a computer. And it's really amazing how much it pushes you. If you've ever played a sport, like sometimes if you're not as much of a gamer, think of it like a sport where, you know, it's fourth quarter and it's coming down to it, and how much effort you're putting in versus thinking about, you know, the exercise. You know, you're not thinking about, oh, I'm a little bit tired or my legs are hurting. Like you're thinking about, you got to win this game and they're coming right at you. That's the great thing about games, is it brings that to you, where it brings the best out of you and you push harder than you ever would before. The companion app is where you track all your stats. So everything you did, 50,000 data points per workout, analyzes it, brings it back to you in graphical format, so you can see exactly what you did, how you're improving, which is very motivating with games, getting that immediate feedback. And we can also give you everything from achievements, the normal stuff that games do, you know, achievements, and give you quests, measuring your streak, NFTs coming soon, so you can actually get those digital rewards and share them. And you may wonder, like, does it actually work? Like, well, people think it's like a video game, like, oh, it's like Wii Fit or something. So, you know, I've had a lot of people say, oh, that sounds awesome. My 12-year-old would love it. It's like, no, like, we'll kill your 12-year-old. You know, it's like CrossFit. You know, it's like you're going hard. It's heavy. I mean, we had a bodybuilder at CES actually. This huge bodybuilder come in and try, and of course, you know, he's like, oh, this is no problem, and he actually got a bloody nose, you know, by the end of a couple minutes experience, because he was trying to beat it. It also goes down to really low level, so, you know, it starts anywhere, but it's going to go up to that high level. But we put people through. We did 90 days with these two guys that had never done VR, had never done video games. One guy gained 8 pounds of muscle, lost 30 pounds of fat, 90 days, doing only black box VR, nothing else. The other guy lost 32 pounds of fat, gained 12 pounds of muscle. We did a UCLA, UC Fit Lab, 3 studies so far, actually, because we wanted to prove it. Because once again, like, we want to learn ourselves, but show, like, does it actually help? And so a group of people went in, did it 3 times per week. They're only 30-minute intense workouts, full body, versus another group that did traditional lifting and cardio 5 days per week. And the group that worked out in black box got better results in every possible metric, from increased lower body power and muscle strength and aerobic capacity, VO2 max, obviously body fat decrease, increased lean body mass, lower resting heart rate. But the most exciting thing is they were more likely to stick to the program and to comply with the program, and to say that they enjoy it more, and also it felt easier, you know, on those ratings of perceived exertion. So it's come true what we theorized in the beginning. Same with our members at our gyms. We have 6 gyms open right now. We have one in Boise downtown here. So actually, if you guys have time, it's in the Zion's Bake building. You get a free trial, run over, you know, a couple of blocks. Otherwise, it's either the bar or that. But yeah, we'd love to have you come over there. But our members are seeing that type of life-changing results as well. People that have never been able to stick to a fitness program, never enjoyed fitness, for the first time. People are on streaks, like we measure a streak. If you at least go once every 3 days, you keep your streak. We have one woman that's like on 450 streak. We have many people in the 200s, 300s, just have not gone on vacation and have not missed a workout. Why do we think this is a good opportunity now? same thing that you guys all know, right? Like, we are right on that cusp of that VR revolution. This benefits everybody here, that finally the technology's there, right? Finally we're to the point where this is possible. We started in 2016, like kind of right after Oculus got purchased by Facebook. And it's like we thought it was going to happen even faster, but it's happening fast. The technology's there, the investment is there in all these different industries, and these things have never been possible before. It's not that we're like, these like super geniuses. It's just this technology's just now been possible, and we're just using it in a way that people haven't before. And we all love this stat, right? Showing this, that the metaverse, all the different things that you guys are doing, as well as all these other industries, fully, truly believe the value is there. This will be a $5 trillion business. We always say we only want half of that. That's it. But obviously, fitness will be a small piece of that. But this is this huge growing market. This feels exactly how the internet felt to me in 1998, 1999, when I bought my domain name for $20,000 in high school. Having no money before that, able to do that. And my dad yelled at me, said how stupid it was to invest in this cyberspace thing. No one's going to give their credit card on cyberspace. And then I hired him a few years later, which was great. But it's that moment where people don't fully understand the power of what's coming. And that's what I'm so excited about being a part of, with groups like this and being able to share our use case, because this is the next big thing, and we're very excited to be a part of it. So thank you.